YouTube says it has had enough of vaccine misinformation on its site.
And false stories from phony sites to run circles around major news outlets.
Many people don't know the difference between something real and something created to deceive them.
Open your eyes.
If you've ever had this feeling that something was terribly wrong with the world that we live in, but you couldn't figure out just what it was, then you've come to the right place. Secret societies, mystery religions, and the Illuminati have been controlling our reality since the beginning of time. But not anymore, because there is an awakening happening, and you are about to become a part of it. Wake up, because this is a call for an uprising.
This is a call for an uprising. Welcome to today's show. The New World Order has one sworn enemy, and that enemy is Jesus Christ and his disciples, his followers, those who worship Jesus Christ and believe him to be the King of Kings. So if the New World Order has one enemy, and that enemy is Christians, the New World Order has needed for long a plan to deceive Christians into believing in something, a great delusion, so grand that Christians would be so blinded by idol worship that they wouldn't be able to see through it. And of course, never in human history that any of us could recall in our lifetimes have we seen Christians so united behind a political figure the way they are behind Donald Trump. And I'm doing this video to show you how Donald Trump not only is not a Christian, he is a member of the same secret societies that all of these wicked elites are members of. We've seen these photographs of Donald Trump in the past, right, where he's wearing this robe. This is the robe of the Royal Arch Masonry. For those of you that don't know, Freemasonry exists in your town. It exists all around the earth. Freemason lodges is where these people meet in secret and worship the Luciferian doctrine. The people in positions of power, from political figures to celebrities, have all gone through Freemasonry and now reside in positions of power over the rest of us after going through their degrees in Freemasonry and other secret societies where they've worshiped the Luciferian doctrine. These are photographs of Donald Trump wearing the Royal Arch Masonry robe. This is the 33rd degree Freemason status that Donald Trump has. Donald Trump has been seen in videos circulating around the internet for years where he is dressed in this Royal Arch robe. It's very clear that Donald Trump has been a trained Jesuit soldier for a long period of time. And now you're seeing what Donald Trump, with all this training and all this indoctrination of Trump since the 80s as being a businessman, being a tycoon, they've been waiting for now, and they've unleashed Trump as a deceiver on the masses. So for anybody out there that looks at these pictures of Donald Trump and this ritual of Donald Trump in Freemasonry and thinks that it's a fake footage, that it's not real footage, well, all one really has to do is look at Donald Trump's connection to the Kabbalah and his connection to the Synagogue of Satan. Donald Trump is a Kabbalist. Donald Trump even has this picture up on his wall of the Kabbalah's Tree of Life, which Trump was awarded. Now, this is where the deceptions run deep, because Donald Trump has even in his own biography written about having his own Kabbalah teacher. Many Christians out there don't understand what the Kabbalah is. They don't understand what Freemasonry is. All they need to hear is somebody profess that they're a Christian, and then they will automatically believe this person, and then they don't even realize how deep the psychosis runs with them telling everybody out there that divine intervention, God intervened, God saved Donald Trump because Donald Trump is going to save us. They don't realize how deep the psychosis is. But Donald Trump, in his own book, wrote, "One day when my Kabbalah teacher, Eaton Yardini, asked him how he was doing, I told him I needed a break." And this is from his own personal book, Donald Trump's book, published in 2003 on page 188, that he has his own personal Kabbalah teacher. So one might say, how could you be a Kabbalist and also be a believer in Christ? Well, the answer is you can't, unless, of course, you're deliberately deceiving. Now, we've all seen the pictures of Donald Trump, even his symbol for MAGA, which is the 666 sign that he's held up numerous occasions. Everybody now affiliates what was once called the AOK sign with MAGA and Donald Trump. And what people out there don't realize is that Donald Trump is aligned with Zionism, which is a political movement. Even in Maurice Samuel's book called You Gentiles, on page 155, he wrote, "We, the Synagogue of Satan, we are the destroyers and will remain the destroyers. Nothing you could do will meet our demands and needs. We will forever destroy because we want a world of our own." And this all correlates with Scripture. This all goes to Revelation chapter 3, verse 9. "Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them to come and worship before thy feet and to know that I have loved thee." The synagogue of Satan, those claiming to be, but are not. And there's a reason that you see all of these celebrities wearing that red bracelet. We've seen Vladimir Putin wearing the red bracelet. We've seen that Trump is aligned with political Israel, with Zionism. And this is extremely dangerous. So what's happening now, if you're not paying attention, is Donald Trump has been pushed out to deceive Christians. That's why Donald Trump is pushing these things like Believers for Trump. They created the ultimate psyop to get you on board with a politician. Think about how dangerous that is. Think about how that could leave you to be a sitting duck in a location as a Christian with other Christians where they could just annihilate you with a directed energy weapon or something along the lines of HAARP. So what did they do? Well, they staged many things to make you support him. They've martyred him over and over and over again, right? They've martyred him in regards to political persecution, how they've been trying to arrest him and throw him in jail and raid his home and raid Mar-a-Lago. And of course, the ultimate thing was the assassination, which has been scripted all along. I showed you the clip of the photographer. They had to get this iconic, quote unquote, picture of Donald Trump to bring you deeper into the psychosis. This picture is the psychosis. So, of course, the Secret Service told this guy when it was time to move so he could go to the front of the stage. Donald Trump told everybody to wait. No, it wasn't for him to get a shoe. It was for this picture to be taken where he yelled, "Fight, fight, fight." And of course, all the things surrounding the fake assassination, from the connection to BlackRock to the way the media has covered it, should show Christians out there that they are being duped. They are being duped at the easiest level. Why do I say the easiest level? Because the deception that's going on is so obvious and so in our faces that they should be able to see that they're being manipulated, right? We saw the picture of the bullet whizzing by his head, all make-believe, right? The bullet whizzes by his head and they tell us it's divine intervention. We've seen that golden statue of Trump that Christians are bowing down at. We even saw when Donald Trump said his hand was covered in blood, and it wasn't, when he gave his speech at the Republican National Convention. We even saw how they deliberately smeared the blood by his mouth to make it look like a snake's tongue. And then the psychosis just went from there, right? How many of these people were walking around with bandages on their ears, thinking that this was some type of support of solidarity? These people are under such deception, it's incredible. We even had all the politicians, all the talking heads, and the same media they call fake news, telling us, demanding that we believe that God intervened in this government-created psychological operation.
The devil came to Pennsylvania holding a rifle, but an American lion got back up on his feet and he roared!
You don't get slight grazes to the ear. I mean, that is divine intervention, that he was not, mortally wounded.
Fate stepped in, God, the hand of God, call it whatever you like.
Evil came for the man we admire and love. I thank God that his hand was on President Trump.
The fact that this is about milliseconds and millimeters that changes this from being an attempt and an assassination should really talk about the divine intervention that has occurred here.
Trump is truly blessed by the hand of God, being able to evade being assassinated.
And we thank him for protecting our next president, Donald J. Trump.
It was a clear assassination attempt. I think there was maybe some divine intervention.
If you didn't believe in miracles before Saturday, you better be believing right now.
It was God alone who prevented the unthinkable from happening.
So that was truly divine intervention as far as I'm concerned.
It's having everybody on the internet saying this is divine intervention. Every frame of the attempted assassination is nothing short of proof that it was divine intervention.
We מסתכל on President Trump. God must have been watching down on the president.
I personally believe that God intervened today, not just on behalf of President Trump, but on behalf of our country.
I'll say that, in my opinion, probably the most famous NFL catch in history is called the Immaculate Reception. I call this the Immaculate Protection. I believe that there was divine intervention to make sure nothing happened to this man. It's extraordinary.
But let's just be real. Donald Trump is anointed by God. Whether you believe in God or not, he had a divine intervention that saved his life. And you can call me crazy, but I think that's the only thing that truly saved Donald Trump. And now he's going to have more support than he's ever had.
Willie, you're right. He's been posting on his Truth Social account. Here's his latest post. It came in just moments ago. Thank you to everyone for your thoughts and prayers yesterday. It was God alone, he said, who prevented the unthinkable from happening. We will fear not, but instead remain resilient in our faith and defiant in the face of wickedness.
Well, when God shows up that clearly, it's hard for even the biggest detractors to deny it. They go, what did I just watch? You just watched God turn Donald Trump's head, literally. We all just watched it. I mean, think about God making his presence known. I mean, on the biggest possible story you ever could. Now you've got people going, okay, I believe it. I believe it. Because how do you deny that?
Not only did we have that, not only do we have all these politicians, they're forcing this narrative on you. And basic mind control is repetition, right? You tell a friend, they tell two friends, and so on and so on. It keeps going. Well, that's what they're doing here. They're beating this divine intervention theme in your head is what they've done over the last month or so. And even since then, we've had Donald Trump speak himself. And we've had him speak, and the deception and the delusion is so deep that people are now hearing what they want to hear. I played the clip of Donald Trump saying, I'm not a Christian. Do you know how many people saw this clip? Do you know how many people watched the clip of him saying that if you're a good person, you go to heaven? If you're a bad person, you go somewhere else. And these people continue to defend even the most obvious things like these two speeches.
But religion, it gives you some hope. Gee, if I'm good, I'm going to heaven.
Do you believe in heaven?
I do. If I'm good, I'm going to heaven. And if I'm bad, I'm going to someplace else, like over there, right? If I'm good, I'm going to heaven. And if I'm bad, I'm going to someplace else, like over there, right?
And again, Christians, get out and vote just this time. You won't have to do it anymore. 4 more years, you know what? It'll be fixed. It'll be fine. You won't have to vote anymore, my beautiful Christians. I love you, Christians. I'm a Christian. I love you. Get out. You got to get out and vote. In 4 years, you don't have to vote again. We'll have it fixed so good you're not going to have to vote. I love you, Christians. I'm a Christian. I'm a Christian. I'm a Christian. I'm a Christian.
And those speeches couldn't be more obvious, right? I mean, he didn't say, I'm a Christian, because he's already declared that he's a follower of the Kabbalah. He's already declared that he follows Judaism. He has already declared these things. He's openly admitted that he's not a Christian, but people are hearing what they want to hear because they're in a psychosis, because the government has psychologically gone after them so hard over the last 4 years or so, really the last 8 years, but gone after them with all of these things that they've done to gaslight, all the crazy stuff that they're allowing to happen, have happened. They've given them their martyr, the person that they think is going to defend them to the end. And really all this is a giant setup for Christians. And it all correlates with that speech that Donald Trump has given so many times, talking about himself, talking about the snake. You knew who I was before you let me in, and nobody's paying attention.
I have saved you, cried the woman, and you've bitten me, heavens, why? You know your bite is poisonous, and now I'm going to die. Oh, shut up, silly woman, said the reptile with a grin. You knew damn well I was a snake before you took me in.
So on top of all those things, the other thing that I need to cover one more time is this whole notion of this assassination and prophets appearing all over the internet, right? We've all heard these people that are now getting pushed, Brandon Biggs, all these people were being told were prophets. They're prophets. They knew that this was going. Well, the only reason that they knew is they were either told ahead of time or the actual psychological operation was working on them so much so that they were having visions of it occurring. Because for the last 8 years, I've been covering the fact that they keep telling us that there's going to be an assassination attempt on Donald Trump. It's not anything new. We've seen Kathy Griffin with the head. We've seen Snoop Dogg. We even saw the Nutcracker theme that the White House released this year, where they had Trump depicted as the Mouse King getting assassinated right in front of the picture of Abraham Lincoln, right? At the same time as all those events, how many movies have we seen predictive programming with? Including the fact that the latest film for Captain America, the plot is about an attempted assassination on Donald Trump, and this trailer came out just days before all of it. Not to mention the movie The Shooter, starring Mark Wahlberg, which had a similar plot with a setup for an assassination that conservatives believe is exactly the narrative that happened, where the government intervened and tried to assassinate Trump as if they couldn't just whack him whenever they wanted to. They believe in all these fictitious narratives because they want to believe in it.
Wilson. They said lose the mustache or lose the election. Making Captain America an official military position. Work with me, Sam. We'll show the world a better way forward.
Sir, your inner circle has been compromised. Either you can't see that, or you don't want to.
Global power is shifting. You're just a pawn. Global power is shifting.
Sir, your inner circle has been compromised.
There's going to be an attempt on the life of the president. Shot will be taken from beyond a mile.
5 or 6 men in the world make a shot like that.
We need you to stop it. Out of all the men alive on the planet, you're one of the few people who knows what to look for.
This guy knows what he's doing.
You gotta take him. It's the setup. Take him now.
The would-be assassin, Sergeant Bob Lee Swagger.
They delivered me on a tray wrapped up like a present.
That's the hassle with democracy. Always a confused soul that thinks that one man can make a difference. There's going to be an attempt on the life of the president. There's going to be an attempt on the life of the president.
So the programming has been in place, but Trump has been one of them all along. And it's just a matter of, will you come out of the psychosis? In 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verses 11 through 12. And for this cause, God shall send them strong delusion, that they should believe a lie, that they all might be damned who believed not the truth, but had pleasure in unrighteousness. Well, maybe that's what we're seeing right now. Maybe what we're seeing is a grand delusion, because we have somebody who's a self-professed Kabbalist, who's a self-admitted Kabbalist, who also is connected to the Royal Arch Masonry. And if you don't know, even in books like Codex Magica, where Tex Mars breaks down the connection between Freemasonry and the Kabbalah. Freemasonry has long praised the Kabbalah, and its top officials have admitted that the lodge's rituals and teachings are but the offspring of the Jewish tradition. Albert Pike, former sovereign grand commander of the Scottish Rite, wrote, "One is filled with admiration on penetrating into the sanctuary of the Kabbalah." That's factual. This is all factual. The Kabbalah is intertwined with Freemasonry and secret societies. It is the synagogue of Satan. I don't know what Christians actually believe the synagogue of Satan is. I'm assuming they just ignore the verse because it's too much for them to wrap their heads around. But while they're being deceived, they better start wrapping their heads around that verse, because it's happening right in front of them, and they're being aligned. They're being aligned to defend the synagogue of Satan itself. And they can't see past that because this delusion is blinding them. Where we've seen Donald Trump, we've seen his fruits, we've seen what he's involved in, we've seen his affiliation with the Kabbalah, his self-admittance to being a Kabbalist. And these people still refuse to believe it. We had one of the most obvious psyops that we've ever seen rolled out. That was so easy to see. He didn't even have blood on his hand after he said he had blood on his hand. He put his hand on his ear. And they tell you that it's divine intervention. That's the news telling you it's divine intervention. The media telling you. And people out there think that they formulated this opinion on their own. The media is telling you that God interfered. And you're believing the media. Why? Why? Because it makes you feel better? You need that kind of proof? You need talking heads on the television to tell you that Donald Trump was saved by God? You can't use your own discernment to see that this entire event is to lure you and to herd you and manipulate you? And these people are the same ones who go, well, what's the better choice? Right? They want to opt in to this deception. They want to vote so that they can have their name opted into this. And they don't realize what's coming next on November 5th. This grand delusion on November 5th is going to correlate with whatever they decide to do, because this is predetermined. Whoever they put in power, either way, the other side is going to deny the election. It's the same outcome in every country. It's the same script that they're playing. And there is going to be civil unrest. And there are going to be people moved around like pawns in a chess game. So Donald Trump, again, I had to do a video where I put some of these clips together, again, for everybody out there to see, because I know you're all struggling with waking people up that are close to you. I know that you're all seeing the frustration that, I'm feeling, where all these people are so in bed. 8 years ago, they weren't into psychosis this deep. They were going, well, Trump's the better of the other option. I'm not going to vote for Hillary. And everybody's like, oh, yeah, okay, that makes sense. I was still talking about it then, that the elections aren't real. But all it took was 8 years of the media just going after him and then martyring him for the last 4 years, having it seem like this wild goose chase, going out a witch hunt, so to speak, going after him for no reason whatsoever to make people go, he must be onto something, he must be doing something. Even though when he was in power for 4 years, he didn't do anything to drain the swamp, like he said, right? All we saw when he was put in power was the beginning of censorship, the beginning of the removal of free speech. And oh, by the way, Operation Warp Speed, where millions upon millions of people were poisoned. How about that? How about them apples? I thank everybody for being here. Hope you're doing well. Hope you could share this video and wake up some of the deceived people out there who are falling for this. I hope you're all doing well again. God bless you as always and your families.